Sometimes it's hard to face reality. Oh, oh, even though you might get mad at me. Oh, oh, sometimes it's hard to face reality.
What's going on, YouTube? This is Logan Oren, and today I am back with another reality check. Today I want to talk to those people in the sim community or those who consider themselves part of the sim movement. And I want to talk about the Joe Montana 16 game that is supposed to be coming out. I have a question that I'd like to pose to the community, and even those who are just interested in buying the game, but specifically to those who have been a part of the sim movement. And that question is, are we letting the prospect of another football title cloud our judgment and forget the past? I know this is a very um, highly anticipated game to come out. And so I hope that I'm not, um, hurting anyone's feelings and making people sad, and the Dark Knight I don't get the Dark Knight treatment where people are threatening to kill you because uh, you don't agree and think that it's a great movie, or if you think that, or if you have something that's not all too positive to say about the product. But this is just something that I've been thinking about, for quite a while, and I just want to see what um, other people in the community think as well. So we'll start off with the past. Is Joe Montana 16 allowing us to forget the past? When we look back at what most people or a lot of people in the sim community has um, things that have made us upset. One of the things that I think back to is the fact that EA would always put out information, bit by bit, and they would never come out and really fully tell us what's going to happen in the game, what the new game is going to be like, what kind of changes, what kind of improvements. Uh, when we see trailers, they just give us little snippets of the best quality, the best animations, the best scenarios that we can see, but get we never really got a complete picture or complete information from it. And that's one of the things that can be frustrating. And that's what I see when for everything that I've heard about Joe Montana 16, it's all either been rumor or, something that someone said on a blog that couldn't really be confirmed, or we hear a tweet here and a tweet there. And that in itself makes me feel a lot like what EA was doing in the release of their Madden game. Now, I understand that there are business strategies that when companies do these things, I understand that they're strategically doing this. I think when it comes to football games, then if someone's going to buy a football game, they're going to buy it. And you're not really bringing in new people who've never played video games before, that they're all of a sudden going to say, "Hey, let's check out this football game." No, it does. It doesn't really work that way. I don't think so. I know it happens from time to time, but not on a large scale where you need to go through these links to kind of hook the person in to buy your product. Now, however, this is a different situation because we have Madden, which has been the forerunner and the only game in town for a long time. And so if they're competing against a company, then yes, they need to gain an edge. But the only reason that I could think that they would do this, that they would be so secretive, is only just to not let EA know what they're doing. But as far as the consumer, I think that it's doing the consumer a disservice. So giving out bits and pieces of information at a time and not really coming full-fledged to tell us. And I understand also that the game has not been officially released to as far as announced, so we don't really know what's going on. I think the rumors and the unofficial, unconfirmed little leaks that come out, I think to me, I think it's unacceptable. When you are targeting a clientele that has had to put up with this kind of thing, and when you know that this is something that does not sit very well with your clientele, I think it's to me it's unacceptable. And so what do you think about that particular issue? Let me know. Another thing is one word. There's this word that I hear, and even though I was very excited when I heard about the possibility of this game, just like everyone else, my excitement started to dwindle, and it pretty much just floored, went to the floor and beyond uh, when I heard this one word mentioned. And this is a word that in my opinion, I think it should send chills down the spine of every single person in the sim community. And that word is exclusivity. Now, why is that such a big thing? Because if it were not for exclusivity, we would not be in the situation that we're in now. We have had to deal with this NFL EA exclusive deal for so long. And for the fact that, we hear things as rumors, for the fact of, that this game will be an exclusive title for the Xbox One, I think anytime we have things that are exclusive, the consumer loses out. I understand that the game is supposed to be built from the ground up for the Xbox One, and that this game is supposedly supposed to be a competitor for EA's Madden. But it isn't necessary for this game to just be exclusive to one platform. And some people will say, well, what about MLB The Show or other games that are exclusive to one platform? I think that, of course, any company has the right to do whatever they want to, and I hope no one throws that comment out. I understand that a company can do whatever they want to. They're trying to make money. But you know what? Just because a company has a right to do something doesn't mean it's the right decision to make. When it comes to MLB The Show, a game like that, it's baseball. And, we're not talking about baseball. We're talking about football. And here in America, football is king. It's the big show. And so I think anytime, when you're making a product that is tied in with football, I think that some consideration needs to be given across the board. Now, I had the 360 in the last generation. I had the 360, and I always heard of this game, MLB The Show. And I'm not a huge baseball fan, but I will give it credit, and I've played baseball games. But I'm not a huge baseball fan, and people kept telling me about this game and how great it was, and I couldn't find it. And then I found out, because when it first came out, I didn't know that it was an exclusive title to the PlayStation 4. But at no point in time was I about to go out and buy a PlayStation just so that I could play that game, a game that I've never even played before. Or I knew that it was good, but I didn't know it was going to be, whether or not it was going to be good to me. But I would never buy a system. I didn't go out and buy a PlayStation 3 just so that I could play the MLB The Show. And it's not necessary for this to happen. And because, yes, it may be catered and built from the ground up for the Xbox One, that's not truly necessary in order to have the best product that you can have. We as video game consumers have allowed for this to be the way that it is. I know it won't be a port from one system to one platform to another, but if we as consumers did not feel like we needed to have a new game every single year, then maybe you could have a developer for a football title or a sports title that would have one department that focuses on one platform, another department that focuses on another platform, and you build the game up for, from the ground up for that system. But we don't have that. And it's something that you could have, and you could even have competition within the departments. Who outsells who? The Xbox One or the PlayStation 4? But because we don't demand things like that, we don't get it. And so we have a feeling that the only way that we could get something, close to the way that we want it is to have them focus on to exclusively limit their product to one console. You may disagree with me, but I feel like the exclusivity of this title, supposedly supposed to be for the Xbox One only and maybe PC, I think that will hurt them. Now jumping over to the Judgment side, are we allowing this game to cloud our judgment in that we're willing to go out and spend $400 to pay $65 more? Because those people who don't have Xbox Ones, in order for them to play this game, they're going to have to go out and buy an Xbox One, or they're going to have to go out and get a gaming PC or upgrade their PC to Windows 10, whatever the OS is. Are we willing to do that? Are we willing to forget that, the treatment that Microsoft gave the consumer when it came to putting out the Xbox One? There are a lot of people that are in this community that did not or refused to buy an Xbox One because of what they tried to do to the consumer, to the gaming consumer. But are we willing to, or are you willing to go out and shell out money, $400 just to play a game that you may not even like? The game may be poor, and you're going to go out and buy a new system that you didn't want before just so that you can play a game. And I'm pretty sure that even though most people in the sim community have the mindset that you play first, or that you do your research first and then you buy later, I guarantee you if you're that hard up for this game, you're going to go out and buy an Xbox One, and then you're going to buy the game on the release of the game day. And then if the game turns out to be trash, then you're stuck with a new Xbox, with an Xbox One that you don't want anymore because it doesn't even play the game, or the game that you bought it for is trash. And now you're stuck with the system you didn't want. So are those of you who really want that game, are you going to research the game before you go out and buy an Xbox One? Are you going to make sure that it's quality before you go out and shell out that money for a new system? Because that's why they are making this effort to do this. They're not trying to be a competitor with Madden. They're trying to sell Xbox Ones because they're trying to pull out all the stops. because the Xbox One has just been getting demolished. And another thing that I was thinking about, and I could be wrong, and so if I'm wrong, or if it's so way, um, off the top, let me know. I would consider this to be a conflict of interest for Microsoft to make this game and it be exclusively for the Xbox One and the Xbox only. I would consider it to be a conflict of interest. If you remember your history, that Joe Montana Sports Talk was pretty much it was an EA game. It was put out to be a competitor to Madden, but it was made to be less quality, to be a lesser quality game than Madden. And so no one thought that it would be, have such a good following. But ultimately, it was an EA game. And are we to say or to think that it's not still the case? Now, we know that Madden is kind of damaged goods. And their name, even though they still have a good name or a popular name, they're going downhill. When you get to the point where you've got ESPN trashing on your product, we're jumping outside of the video game world and we're getting into the world, the real world, and they're pointing out the problems in your product. So is it not possible that EA would, or that EA would have it in the works to have this new game to come out that is going to, quote unquote, be the competitor of Madden, but actually be its successor? I think it's highly possible. I'm not saying I believe that's the case, but I'm just saying that, shouldn't we be thinking about that? Or should we think about that as being a possibility? And are they really competitors? Is this a conflict of interest? I know that you have all of these deals that are being made with these companies. I would think for Microsoft to put out a football game, whether it be NFL or not, would be a conflict of interest because Microsoft also has a deal with the NFL, being the exclusive or being the official game console of the NFL. At the same time, the NFL has an exclusive contract with EA. And at the same time, Microsoft has a contract or has a deal with EA. So you've got all of these companies that have deals with each other. It's like Saved by the Bell and all, everybody in a relationship with everybody. So how is that not a conflict of interest? So is this game really a competitor, a true competitor? You look at Madden 16, the trailer that they put out a little while ago. And which box cover did they use? Xbox One. So that's something that we need to be thinking about. Have we allowed for this game to make us forget and not even think about those things? Are we that hard up? Are we that thirsty? Are we that desperate for a new game to come out that we're willing to forget and we're not willing to think about these little details? Also, we have a lot of people that are in the sim community that have already gone all in with this game without even knowing the quality or the simulation quality of this game. And so, yes, to have a competitor is what we want, but when we're to the point where we're going all in and we're willing to support it without knowing anything about it. And I think there are some people that have done really well as far as not going ahead and signing on the dotted line. But I think there are some that are already willing, ready, willing, and waiting to to swipe their card or to hand over the cash and to tell people to do the same thing before they even know anything about this game. So we have to be positive and we can have hope, but we cannot go all in just because there's another game in town, especially thinking about the other issues that I just brought up. Because we don't know anything except for what's leaked, what a few people tell us that's not official or confirmed. So we cannot make these judgment mistakes. So, what do you think about this? This has just kind of been on my mind, and you can agree with me, you can disagree with me, you can agree to disagree with me, but tell me what you think. Put in the comments, send me respond with a video, whatever you'd like. So tell me what you think. This is Logan Orrin with another reality check, because the truth should mean something.
Sometimes it's hard to face reality. Oh, oh.